During a congressional hearing on white nationalism, Democrat Ted Lieu completely exposed Candace Owens using her own words. Watch.
In congressional hearings, the minority party gets to select its own witnesses. And of all the people that Republicans could have selected, they picked Candace Owens. I don't know Miss Owens. I'm not going to characterize her. I'm going to let her own words do the talking. So I'm going to play for you the first 30 seconds of a statement she made about Adolf Hitler.
I agree. I actually don't have any problems at all with the word nationalism. I think that it gets, the definition gets poisoned by elitists that actually want globalism. Globalism is what I don't want. So when you think about, whenever we say nationalism, the first thing people think about, at least in America, is Hitler. You know, he was a National Socialist, but if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. Problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. He wanted to globalize. He wanted everybody to be German, everybody to be speaking German.
All right, so my first question is to Ms. Hirschenoff. Ms. Owens said, quote, if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. The problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. So when people try to legitimize Adolf Hitler, does that feed into white nationalist ideology?
It does, Mr. Lieu. I know that Ms. Owens distanced herself from those comments later, but we expressed great concern over the original comments.
All right. Well, let me get into this. Now, if you are a fan of Candace Owens for some reason, don't worry. I will give you the full context of the clip. And no, it doesn't make Candace Owens sound any better. It actually makes her sound much worse, but I'll get to that in a minute. First, I want to attack this argument here. So, nationalism. Oh, Hitler was fine. Oh, Hitler's nationalism was fine. It's the problem was that he was trying to move the genocide outside of his own borders. If he just killed all the Jews within his own country, well, there would have been no issues. But he wanted to take a global. Once you try and take the genocide global, well, that's when you run into problems. I mean, you're all clear on Candace Owens being a fraud, right? So this clip actually came out a couple months ago. I didn't cover it at the time, but I'm glad Ted Lieu brought it up now so I can cover it. Because this is just, this completely exposes Candace Owens. She is ahistorical, doesn't really know anything. She's a complete empty shell and a tool of the right wing. Her job is simply to try and recruit, well, first of all, try and make white people feel like it's okay to be a Republican or a conservative because, we got Candace Owens, so it's perfectly okay, we're not racist. And the other reason is to try and recruit black people into the conservative movement, which I don't think is working. She had some, black exit or blacksit or something. There was some movement she was trying to start of black Democrats trying to get them out of the Democratic Party and join the Republican Party. It just completely failed. So this is Candace Owens. Her job is to create propaganda, and that's what she's been doing. Now, this other piece of this that I want to touch on here. So she mentions it briefly in that clip. Hitler was actually a National Socialist. Oh, that was the problem. He was a socialist. Look, I can't believe I have to break this down, but let me quickly break this down. There is more to something than a name. You have to look at what the party actually did. Look at what Hitler actually did. So, there's so many other examples of this. So in Canada, we have the Progressive Conservative Party. In Ontario, right now, we have the ruling party in Ontario is the Progressive Conservative Party. Now, it is a conservative party, but they're called the Progressive Conservative Party. Does that mean they are both progressive and conservative? They're both pushing for progress and keeping things the way they are? No, it's the Conservative Party. It's just a name. Much like North Korea. North Korea, better known as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Is North Korea a democratic nation? Are they a democracy? No. But it's in the name, so they must be. This is... Please, if you learn anything from this video, I want you to learn that there is more to something than just a name. A name can simply be a ruse to try and make you think something is is one thing when it's actually something else. Look into the actions of what these various groups or what these countries represent. Now, just briefly, since I might as well mention this too, Hitler was a fascist, in case you didn't know. So let me just give you the proper definition here from Google of fascism, which also happens to have a picture of Hitler beside it. So fascism is a form of radical, right-wing, authoritarian ultranationalism characterized by dictatorial power, forcible suppression of opposition, and strong regimentation of society and of the economy, which came to prominence in early 20th century Europe. All right, so now that I got that cleared up, let's get to the full context of the Candace Owens clip, because we all know, oh, Ted Lieu must have taken her out of context. Okay, let's listen to the full minute of Candace Owens' answer here.
Yeah, I agree. I actually don't have any problems at all with the word nationalism. I think that it gets, the definition gets poisoned by elitists that actually want globalism. Globalism is what I don't want. So when you think about, whenever we say nationalism, the first thing people think about, at least in America, is Hitler. You know, he was a National Socialist, but if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. The problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. He wanted to globalize. He wanted everybody to be German, everybody to be speaking German, everybody to look a different way. That's not, to me, that's not nationalism. In thinking about how it could go bad down the line, I don't really have an issue with nationalism. I really don't. I think that it's okay. It's important to retain your country's identity and to make sure that what's happening here, which I think is incredibly worrisome in terms of the decrease in the birth rate that we're seeing in the UK, is what you kind of want to avoid. So I don't have anything problem. I have no problems with nationalism. It's globalism that I try to avoid.
Okay. This clearly makes Candace Owens sound worse. So in the Ted Lieu clip, we only got to hear the first 30 seconds. But in the last 30 seconds, Candace Owens talks about how it's important to retain your country's identity and how the decrease in birth rates is worrisome. I wonder who else made this argument. Hitler wanted a high birth rate so that the Aryan population would grow, and he set out various ways to try and achieve that. This is the problem. Candace Owens, if she's trying to separate herself and the nationalist movement from Hitler, then she should probably stop making Hitler's arguments. I mean, this should now be obvious to you if it wasn't already obvious. Now, this is what she's used, though. Like, this is why she exists. She is used as a tool by the right wing to try and make white people feel okay about being conservative, and at the same time try and recruit black people into the conservative movement. Which is just, I don't know how well either of those things are going. I think the first one is maybe a little more successful for her than the second one, but you have to be more aware of this stuff. And look, largely I think people are aware of this. If you get this information to most people, most will wake up. But it's that, that margin of people, especially younger white men who are not yet educated, don't yet have that historical context to understand what actually went on and what Candace Owens and the conservative movement is actually about. I mean, for all the discussion among young right-wingers about, identity politics, Hillary Clinton, Democratic Party, they're all about identity politics. Look at the Republican Party. It's 95% white. If that's not identity politics, I don't know what is. So this whole idea that, only the Democratic Party, all about identity politics, meanwhile, all the right wing does is try and appeal to white people. I mean, come on now. So this is, and just to give you a small example of the kind of vitriol that Candace Owens has created in society and online, YouTube had to shut down racist comments on stream of Congress hearing on white nationalism. So this doesn't happen very often, where YouTube has to actually go into a live stream and shut the comment section down because there were so many racist comments. But that happened during this stream. So again, people, be aware of these types of frauds because they are simply paid by the wealthy to try and fool you.